Ta-da! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours with Amber. I'm Amber, and this is Office Hours. Um, we're back in the cozy chair because I am still recovering from being sick. So we're just going to do our best today. This month has taken me for a whole ride. The audio's working. God bless. Okay. So traditionally on week 3 of the month, I will consult with an expert and get some feedback. So I did that offline. I did that last Friday with Faye Boardbar. She's fantastic. I got to see her present the most electric presentation at the Global Excel Summit back in February. And she's so cool. Maybe it was January. Time flies. No idea. Anyways, Jack, thank you so much for checking in. This month's goal is working on my PowerPoint for the Active Cell Conference coming up in December 1st through 3rd. The presentation and the PowerPoint slides you see today is not going to be super beautiful. It is going to be super chaotic, but I think this is a real world. I think in every professional setting I've ever worked in, this is pretty par for the course of Banjo. Can you go somewhere else with that? Okay. Meanwhile, we have Banjo, and he's connected to the table that has my camera on it, so he keeps shaking the damn table. Hello. So we're going to move him. There he goes. Okay. We are overstimulated, but we're in today. It is 7 p.m. and we're starting. Okay. This month, working on the PowerPoint you're about to see, a little crazy. Let's get that so clear. This is going to be a working session for the next 60-ish minutes. Oh, I've lost my dock. There we go. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to be working on my presentation. I'm going to put on some vibey music. It's going to be super fun. If you have anything you would like to work on at the same time, this is not going to be a super chit-chatty presentation or like a hour. I'm not going to be teaching much, but it's kind of like I'll be fiddling around. Before I get started on that, quick note, you might notice my cool sweatshirt. It also has why not on it, which is so fun because I have a tattoo that says why not. And I think it's kind of how I live my life. I'm working on figuring out some merch opportunities, not because I think anyone will buy it, because I just want to wear Peach Profitability every day because it's in a color scheme I like. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just fill my wardrobe with my own brand? I feel like it's the time. So stay tuned for that. I got this off of Etsy, so not quite the most profitable of options, but we'll get there. We'll get there later. Okay, so today I'm going to be working on my presentation. I think it's important to recognize Jack, are you talking to yourself on the FMWC UK account? Or who runs the UK account? Because I thought it was you, but now I'm confused. But I think it's... Let me know. Anyways, so... This is a funny thing I recognized with myself while building this presentation. And what I'm recognizing is storytelling is a true art form. And that's what PowerPoint really is. Oh, Johnny's the FMWC UK. Oh my God, Johnny, hello. Nice to see you. What I'm recognizing is with ADHD, much like the beginning of this live stream that we're having today together, I tend to start stories, have a better idea, veer off, go tell a different story, come back, wrap around to the point. I always get to the point, but unless I'm talking to other neurodivergent people, it's really tough for them to kind of pick up the pieces of where the hell my brain's at. And for this presentation, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. We're kind of getting like the perfect storm of I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to make a really impactful, efficient, well thought out worth the money presentation, because people are coming from all around the world to come to this conference. I don't want them to come away from my presentation and be like, gotta went to the bathroom during that one, snooze fest, which I know I'm going to be funny, but I want to provide value. And I know what I'm talking about is valuable because I've derived financial, mental, physical, community, like so much value from the things that I've done this year. And so that's where I'm like, how do I articulate that in a way where people who English is their first language and isn't their first language can understand and feel the impact of what I'm saying without leaning too far in one way or the other. So I lost track of the plot throughout the month because then I started, when you like build a presentation or you build a story and then that story starts transforming and then you start adding little ad libs of things that are funny to add to it. And then you start to veer off and then you get back. I really had to take a moment and go back to the Active Cell website and go, oh my God, the name of my presentation is From Spark to System. Why am I taking so much time to talk about how bad I am at things? Like now, yes, it did talk about like the original presentation. I was talking about like you have to be bad at things before you can get good at things. And there's like a whole undertow lesson to be learned about being good at being bad at things. Like healing whatever perfectionism lives in your soul for that. But like in terms of engineering the Excel mindset, that's not like really an engineering approach. It is an engineering approach because it's like the continuous improvement of it all. But it's not really like I wasn't following a systematic way of getting there. So I was like, oh God. So then I like completely crumbled and I was like, I've made a template of this presentation that makes no fucking sense. And then I completely lost it. But the nice part is I took some time to get back to my roots and I've said this advice to every student group that's ever come through my building, every project that I've managed, every project I've done myself, is when you lose track of the plot, what is the goal you're actually trying, like what's the objective you're actually trying to solve? Same thing with Excel competitions is sometimes you'll get lost in the weeds of what it says, but what's it asking you? It could give you a brick of text and say, what's the first letter in each of these strings? It's like, if we would have just focused on what the objective is, we could have saved a lot of time. So the nice thing is, now that I'm back on the same wavelength of how do I communicate how people can transform their inspiration they feel at this conference to their day-to-day lives throughout the rest of the year and continue to get benefit from this conference long after it ends, that has been a North Star that's helping me. So like with my business, with projects, with everything, it's like you have to start with alignment. And then you have to assess how far away from actually achieving that am I? And right now I'm pretty far. I would say I'm not like all of the content lives in my head. It's just I've made not 80% of the slides. Also, if anyone from the Microsoft, like the Active Cell team is watching this, it's going to be done up by November 1st. Don't you worry. Like this, every presentation I've ever given, ever, is done on time and done well. So don't you worry. I'm going to give a performance of a lifetime. And it's going to be fun and engaging and all of that. But today I'm basically going to put on some fun music and we're going to work on PowerPoint and it's going to be fun. I'm not going to really explain much of what I'm doing unless someone asks, but like you'll get some vibes. The other thing is you'll see me hip hopping. I'm in the cozy chair. You'll see me hip hopping between Canva and PowerPoint and the original PowerPoint and the new PowerPoint. And like, it's going to be a little chaotic, but I've been basically sometimes when thoughts get too big for my head, I have to write them down. But because these are thoughts that I need to be able to click and drag and move and kind of like Frankenstein together, I needed it digitally. So that's what I like. And I'm sure I could have used like Microsoft Whiteboard, but I like the Canva whiteboards and the Canva canvases, or I think they're called whiteboards, to be able to like really like throw shit at the wall and then be able to like haphazardly move it all around. Because sometimes like the slide sorter and PowerPoint just like is too constrictive where I'm not allowed to like kind of make clouds of information. So you're about to see what the insides of my brain look like, and it's haunting. So anyways, last but not least, before I go completely silent for the next 50 minutes, if you would like to attend and see this full presentation in December, with the Active Cell conference, feel free to go to theactivecell.com/shop and use Peachy Pro for a 10% discount. And if you're a first time attendee, I have a 20% discount code that I can give out very sparingly. So let me know. Jack said, I created a presentation, OA Robot, and am using Excel because PowerPoint genuinely is a blocker for me mentally. I feel that. I feel it. And I'm glad that you're at least creating novelty in a way, or removing the friction that was preventing you from getting things done. And sometimes it just takes some creative approaches to just muscle through. But yeah, the music we'll be listening to today is from Todd Baker. He is a musical artist, sound designer, and guitarist from, I think, London. And he has made all of the music from the Monument Valley games, which I love. So I think we're just gonna bop around in the Monument Valley, maybe just his music. Yeah, I'm just gonna play his music and we're gonna hang out. But yeah, if you have anything that you would like to be doing, feel free to use this hour to get some laundry done, get some fold some laundry, do some dishes, hang out, vibe. Absolutely. Okay, let's do it. So the original plot of my presentation, so I'm going to explain a little bit. The original plot was essentially, I'm going to zip through it and then I'm going to show you kind of how I'm changing that. And then I'm going to go into that. So essentially starting off with, hey, it's your girl, Amber, going into two types of presentations, people about the computer, Excel tips, and the person. So I talk more about the people using the computer, because much like Peachy Profitability, Peachy is the people, profitability is the mechanisms that run businesses, and one without the other doesn't make much sense. So then shout out to Jack. Basically, every presenter at this conference is invited because they're really good at something. So Jarman with modeling, Jack with data visualization, Dim with literally everything else. And I'm really good at being really bad at things. And I think that's a really nice skill because it makes me really good at learning new things. And that is what my presentation is about, is learning to learn and making your own, system. So it goes into, and this part gets kind of fun with the transitions, into the using the morph feature like we talked about in the first week. And so going through my professional career of my background in industrial engineering, which started with industrial engineering, and then it does a little bit of punchy animations of talking about going into if you have ever had the idea of I could make this faster, or there's got to be a better way to do this, and then going through the process and the pain of actually trying to improve something and then getting something on the other end. You are an industrial engineer. That is continuous improvement. That's the whole thing. So I'm basically honoring the whole room. We are now all industrial engineers today. Then moving into, speaking of my failures, and this is where it doesn't make, I looked back at this months after I made it, and I'm this doesn't make any sense anymore, because now I'm talking about my failures of okay, similarly using the same little cute silly things, went into saying, I had an idea to automate Benny, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the reminder to create my own presentation for Vegas. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. The nice thing is by the time we get to Vegas, my presentation will be completely different. But yes, get some rest. Thank you for joining. So in this part, I'm talking about professional failures. He was actually pretty good at this job. And then going through ADHD, my ADHD diagnosis, and going into how that completely changes how you motivate yourself to do anything. Deep breath. Then there's some parts that I'm going to be keeping, talking about talent, because I was a beer psychic, going into kind of fortune telling on why I know what I know is because I experienced it already, of I went to the conference, thought I was going to learn everything there was to learn. I didn't. And then I came back to the next conference. I was oh shit, I didn't learn anything. And it goes into talking about shame and talking about this and everything, each slide by itself makes sense. But then when you put them all together by side, it's like I have the sections that make sense, like, talking about failure and then growing and then how to create your own system. Like those, like it makes sense, but it's so clunky. And so that's where I leaned in and I was like, use your engineering tools. So like PDCA, DMAIC, going into like, what was the problem? What was our hypothesized solution? What are some tools we use to root cause analysis what the real problems are and why I couldn't get myself to learn anything? And then how did I implement them and how did it go? And like that is like scientific method. Like that's what it is. So every time I try to stray away from a chronological story or a like scientific method-esque story, it gets so muddy. So this is my attempt to lean into like I know I can make it funny. I have to make it logical first and then I can make it funny on top. And I think what I was trying to do was trying to make it funny and then make it logical, which was just, I'm a woman of science. I must follow the science. So, okay, without further ado, I'm about to crank on this presentation. That sounded crazy, but let's do it. This is the old presentation, and now the new one looks nuts. Like there's like nothing makes sense and it's all everywhere. And that's a part of it. Because then I don't want to recreate any slides. So then the nice thing about slide sorters, I can go pick and place the ideas. So what I'm going to do is like, if I have key points I want to get to, I'm going to make the slide for that key point and then I'm going to move them around because I know like it's in my head. It's just not quite out of my head yet. So similarly, like I was talking about in PowerPoint, or rather, for instance, this is one of my easier word clouds, but let's say, are you using the active cell template they sent out at all? Jack, the amount that I'm using that template is the first and the last because the template they sent out didn't actually have master template slides. It literally only had 5 of the same. It didn't have any diversity, like, or even like any other one. So that's why I'm using my own, but yeah, I think the active cell team was so tired of people saying, here's my intro, and then went exactly over to Excel. So I think they were like, I'm not going to put any energy into making a master template when no one's going to use it except for me, but that's fine. So I've used this feature, and of course we've got so many things. I've used this feature when I was planning out office hours with Amber. Like similarly, I had so many ideas and trying to like even down to like, okay, what is the peach going to be like? And what is the font? And so I like to use this when my ideas are bigger than a PowerPoint or like it's like bigger than me. But anyways, you don't need all those details, but going into this. So essentially recentering on my focus, which is, this is the text that comes directly from the Active Cell website and like my speaker profile. And I tried to highlight like, okay, what are things that I know I want to lean into? So for instance, I want to make sure that like these are things that people read the website and I'm accountable for delivering on, which I already had in some way, but it's nice to kind of recenter on like game plan to soak up all the and I hate that they use the word soak up because originally there was a different title and it was way gross. But anyways, to absorb all of the value from the Active Cell, get a strategic learning template and insights from how mine went, and then confidence to, turn their inspiration into long-term impact. Like that really is what I'm talking about. I just have to do it. So yeah, okay. I'm going to put some music on and then I'm just going to get going. And these are all like sub ideas of things I kind of want to like include, but also it's going to be fine. All right, putting music on. Also, if the music's too loud, let me know, because I have no concept. Also, side note, I know this is like not important right now, but I think my sister got me this, and it says, don't mess with Antisaurus, you'll get Jurass kicked. I love silly cups. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Okay, we're going to focus now, I promise. Yay. Okay, good. If it gets too loud, let me know. PDCA. Also, I'm really excited about the way I'm starting it. I won't spoil that, but I'm super stoked about it. Which I'm going to try to see if I can live stream, because I'll be presenting on a Monday. I'm going to try to see if they'll let me live stream it, like maybe later in the day after that part of the conference has ended. But because it's a paid conference, I don't know if they will, but I hope they do, because by the time this is completely well done and rehearsed, it's going to be really fun. Okay. I need to like, let's how to create an outline in PowerPoint. Like, I wonder if they have like a outline view. Wait, how do I do that? Because the theme of the month is I really should. Wait a minute. Wait. Let's educate ourselves.
Avoid all
Okay, let's see what this guy's got to say.
pretty design choices, because we're about to create a professional grade slide deck from scratch. So always, PowerPoint has 5 different views of the same project that you're working on. To change our perspective, go to the View ribbon menu, and it's here that we're going to see that we're currently in the standard default view, but we want to go straight to Outline View. What just happened? The main canvas here is still center, and running down on the left side is our new outline working space where we can capture all of our key ideas.
Wait a minute.
First line. As you'll see, the main slide is updated, and the main slide mirrors what we've typed in the outline view.
This is big news, guys. I didn't actually know this existed. Let me turn up the audio for this guy. He's a little quiet.
Hitting the keyboard enter key, and I now have a second blank slide. Type in the next line.
This will be a really huge win for Click Around and Find Out month. I'm actually a little upset I didn't know about this like 5 years ago. It's okay. It's okay. Let's keep going.
And now I have the title for slide 2. So it's just a matter of type and enter to create new slides. But a presentation is more than just titles on the top of each slide. Let's go ahead and add a subtitle on the very first slide. Going back up to the end of the line of the first slide by either using the mouse or the keyboard, I'm going to press enter. And not surprisingly, we get an additional slide. But what we wanted was a subtitle under the title of the first slide. So
yeah.
Here's a simple magic. Just press the tab key on your keyboard, which will remove the standalone slide number 2, and instead put a text line.
This works if you have a master deck that is set up with templated properly. But that does create a sense of necessity for a lot of times people won't set up master decks because there's no other benefits other than like, especially if you're doing it for yourself. But knowing this, that creates a sense of shared accountability to be like, oh, do this well so that all your other functions work well.
As part of the title slide. Type, and our indented text now is part of slide 1. So it's just enter to get a new slide and tab to make the next line. Well, in that scenario, the enter key does create not hit the enter return key, and the subsequent lines match up at the same at another scenario, changing the intent after the text. Here, I'm adding a new slide with multiple lines of text at the same indentation level with some typos as I go along.
Oh, this is nice, because then what I can do is I essentially can put like my intentions for each slide and like plan it out as like a big long skeleton.
But after typing, I can now go back and highlight all the lines I want to indent and press the tab key to do them en masse. Let me see the bigger picture beyond just the single slide canvas. Last outline input technique. If you want to bring a level back up, it's easy, but only if you know that the feature exists. As quickly as possible so that you do know the outline we see is in the outline view, but I prefer to switch to number 3 location in our outline. Everything is interconnected. By this point, you should be sold on the idea that whole presentations gets formatted with perfection. We will explore expanding this look when I click a single slide that is following the design theme. It's going to automatically present because we started bullet points and
okay. Well, I do like this because I don't, as you can see, I don't use outlining very well. So that's where I should have. I don't want that. That is nice that you have all your words. Okay, I think what I need to do is, I'm going to call this old. Like, it's crazy to have 81 slides of old. There's so many repeaters and crazy things. That's okay. That's okay. Let's look at my slide master and see what I got going on. Okay. Good, 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 good. Ooh, old logo. Nice. Retro. But you see how these don't have anything on them? Whereas this has like a title and more words. So honestly, I'm just going to toss these on here just because, so that it'll capture that if I change it. Even though I don't completely need them. The nice thing is when I'm on those slides, for instance, when I'm on those slides, we can then, or for instance, not that one. If I make a new one, I can just delete these boxes if I don't want them. But at least if I'm editing it in the outline view, it can still operate as if there is. Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, something big crazy is happening. No. Oh, so it just puts it at the top if you don't have it. Spooky. Strange. That's okay. Regardless. Toot thy horn. Okay. Intro. AJ intro. Okay. I just need to be able to see, like, I'm leaving those there so I can only see what's going on, and then I need that one to be down here. And then I'm going to let's do this with not an important decision. Let's do this. It doesn't have peach on it. Let's do that one. Okay, we're done with that choice. Oh. A little loud. Okay. I've also been working with ChatGPT a little bit just to like unstring the thoughts in my head. No, I'm just gonna follow PDCA. Now the side of my screen's gonna look crazy. Just don't worry about her, sweetheart. Oh, I don't like that thinks it's a... Text placeholder. Got it. I don't know what DRM free music is, but the I've listened to the every time I use Todd Baker's music on Spotify, it doesn't flag for copyright, or at least the Monument Valley soundtracks. And so I reached out to him on his website because one thing about the music is I love his background music, like the music he makes. I like it's such perfect like work, study, live stream music because it's like non-abrasive and kind of. I've competed most of the time when I compete. I will listen to this song. It's called Power of Two. It is my favorite of his songs, and. So you can use without copyright. Well, the thing is, this guy, like, there's no copyright issue with that. But yes, if you'd like to make me some Suno music, absolutely. I've been trying to lean into using real artists and figuring out ways. Like, so I tried to connect with him on Instagram or his website to be like, hey, how do I properly credit your music? Because I don't see that it's copywritten. And so I'm like, how do I go about like even like licensing. Like, how do I pay you money to like listen to this stuff? Because I really love, it's the easiest, or even getting him to like make stuff like that. So I've been trying to lean more into non-AI usage for creative endeavors, because artists are already like not recognized and everything. So I've been trying to lean away from Suno, but in a pinch, I think in the future I might. But for now, and like also I don't monetize this podcast live stream series, so it doesn't really cause any issues, I would say, and it doesn't take anything down. It's not like I'm using like Taylor Swift music. I wish I could, but like, yeah. For now, my boy Todd. But this is like very like harrowing music, so I'm gonna go back to its original. There we go. Okay, back on subject. Oh, there we go. Okay, I see what happened. So this actually wasn't set up properly in the master. Let's set that up. And this all happens. There we go. There we go. He's also got videos on his YouTube. Actually, let me show that real quick. So cool thing about Todd Baker is he's got a YouTube channel, which I'm going to throw in the chat. And he does videos where he'll like post his music, but also will do like deep dives on how he makes his music and how it connects to like what's going on, and he goes into really like a lot of depth on it. It's really cool. So anyways, I suggest, I mean, he doesn't post much, but he's been more active lately, and if we can sign a petition to get me in contact with this man, I'd be very appreciative, because I think he's so cool. But yeah, he's got an Instagram as well. We're gonna throw that in the chat too. But just Monument Valley is already so cool, and then to know he's like making the music, and I think it's award winning as well. But okay, I digress. I actually use Suno to bring my songwriting songs to life. Ooh, it has been it's like great having drums and the sounds I want without needing to find people to play them, plus some fun Excel tunes for sure. And I think like using AI to like amplify like your creative expression is super cool. I personally like I want to like I love video editing and I love like the technicality. So I know if I ever got to the point where I wanted to make music, I'd want to like make it myself. Like learn how to actually like, you know, learn how to do it. Because I am not a writer, but I love the twinklies. And so that's why I love Todd. So if anyone can get me in contact with him, I would love to pay him money. I don't know how much music costs, but I'm sure it's a gazillion dollars. But when I make enough money, I would love to use that. But until then, we'll just listen on Spotify. I can use this one anyway. The other thing is, if you're in a master slide set and you realize you can't delete it, it's because one of the slides that you're using is using that template, which is weird because I feel like it would just like convert to just a normal cell or like a normal slide. But yeah, sometimes I like to clear out old junk, but you can't because it's connected to something. Okay, I think that should be all of them. Okay. Oh, it's because the titles aren't set up well either. Well, okay, this is not important, but I want to do it the right way, and this month is all about getting in the routine of doing it the right way. Because what this is just a text box. It's not a placeholder itself. Well, it kind of is. That's so weird that, like, you'd have to put it in that way for it to recognize it specifically. Okay, I think that's going to fix my problem. Otherwise, I'm wasting a lot of time doing this, but that's okay. It's not wasting time because I'm learning something. Ooh, master title style. I don't... Let's go check if that's actually working the way I think it will. No, I don't think it's working the way I think. No, it is. It is. It is. It is. It is. I just... All of the old ones are... Okay. We're good. It is worth the time I'm putting into it. What have I done? Oh my god. Oh my gosh, we're already at 42 minutes. I think I'm just going to keep working on this. So it might go over an hour. So as people come and go, feel free to hang out. But also do not feel like you must stay. I'm just glad I'm getting something done because the biggest procrastination tool I use is, well, I need to think, I need to consume before I create. And I think the inaction is actually what drives more inaction. So if I just get started and go make it so messy, this feels similar to when you are cleaning out a closet you've neglected for a while and you have to just pull everything out and make the whole room messy to encourage yourself to clean it up. So this is that moment. Oh, it's cold in here. Okay, that should be good now. There we go. Okay. Let's go back to Monument Valley soundtrack. Don't know what I was trying to do there. Oh. Fear. This outline is really nice to be able to like see in words very quickly. Motherfucker, why is this not moving? There we go. I'm gonna freak out. If you're just tuning in, I apologize. This is me making my outline so that I can more easily sort some stuff out. So just don't you worry. We're doing our best. I am trying to, this is the biggest spoiler alert, is I'm really excited to, I was trying to like make my personal, like my business framework work for this thing, which it will. It's just I'm gonna have to use different words to like really drive it home. And so I'm excited about the equation of change, and it's a function, like the actions are driven by some function of your values, what you value, the novelty of what you're doing, the accountability of doing it, and the capacity you have to do it. And so I've been exploring this idea of like getting a pretty subjective, when I start to paint subjective realities into objective realities, it makes it easier for my brain to kind of process like it's like operating a machine. There's levers and pulleys to be able to like up tension or this or increase length, or like knowing what levers and levers you have to pull to impact the output that you're trying to achieve makes it's a subconscious behavior, and when you bring it to your like conscious mind, you can make more decisions around it. And I know that sounds like real like frou-frou nonsense, but what I've recognized with therapy, with ADHD coaching, with everything I've ever done is when you bring more consciousness and awareness to what you're doing and why you're doing it, you're actually able to take more control of the way that you do it and how you do it and how, like, what choices you have. Because there's a lot of my life that I felt like I was being controlled by my circumstances instead of knowing that I am the architect of the landscape I live in. Like, for instance, with like taking action, like, and I'm trying to like, I had to recenter on like, what's the goal of this presentation? It's engineering an Excel mindset and transforming your spark into a system. A spark, an inspiration, is a deeply subjective thing of that light bulb that goes off. A system is, how do I transform something subjective into something objective? Similarly, like, I am a big fan of putting tools in between me and something I want. For instance, and this is the example I use most often, is if I want to be able to hold my employees accountable or my project partners accountable to deliverables on a project or terms of engagement, instead of me out of the blue saying, hey, I think you could work on your professionalism. That feels like an attack. But if I have a weekly or monthly kind of scorecard where we get to rate each other and it's a two-way conversation and they know it's coming, it's a communicated thing to talk about the subjective metrics of professionalism, timeliness, activation, or like jumping on tasks. Like if I can put something objective, it's like, hey, 1, 2, 3. You get a rating of 1 through 3. 1 is less than adequate. 3 is above and beyond. 2 is good enough. And that is creating an objective metric around a subjective idea so that people can better communicate subconscious, like, I'm talking in tongues, but like what the best thing I can do for this presentation is I'm talking to a whole room of people that love formulas and love Excel. Why would I talk about fluffy feelings? I need to put it in context of here's a formula for how you can take action. How can we pull levers in value of how do we make this task or learning or find a task you want to learn about, something you value, how you create value with the thing you're learning about, and how do you make, what values do you carry as a person that are going to help you keep yourself accountable? So like I value honesty. And so, and I also value community and connection. And that's why I love this live stream, is because I'm able to chit chat with, Jack and Johnny and Eric and Ashley and Emily and whoever shows up, and my mom. It's a way for me to do what I was already going to do, but I'm opening the door for community and connection and a bid for connection. So it's, for instance, like the lever of value is like, how do you find things you value? How do you live by those values? And how do you get value, like get a return of value by doing what you're trying to set out? Same thing with novelty. It's like, some people need a lot of novelty. I need to gamify what I'm working on, or I need to, like, for instance, I was talking with Emily and we agree, like, we need to make our action logs pretty. We need to make them in fonts we don't hate looking at. If we're going to spend all this time on the computer, make it cute. And that's like the novelty of working from this chair. Eric, oh my gosh, hi. Like, I now feel like I'm at a sleepover. I'm working from like a cozy recliner. Like it doesn't feel like work anymore because I've created novelty. Some people don't need that. Some people are totally good with just doing as is. Same thing with accountability. It's like, or community, or, the people factor of it is, if someone was to text you every day, and I'm going to be making this worksheet for people to, if I was to say, who keeps you accountable? You'd kind of clam up a little bit, or at least I would. Whereas if I was to say, how do you feel when I ask you this question? If I was to text you every day asking you about your goals, would you feel controlled or empowered? Would you feel supported, or do you feel like icky and like shameful? If that's the case, then maybe like a daily check-in doesn't make sense for you. Or maybe like similarly, then this is going to sound a little crazy, but if a fourth grader says, oh my God, Amber, you're so smart. Yeah, because you're a fourth grader. I think you think everyone's smart that's older than you. But if, like Eric and Jack are to tell me that I'm smart, or that what I'm talking about is novel, like, intelligent, I'd be really like, that would really move me because they're so smart. So the accountability is like, okay, do you need to derive validation and connection and support from people that you respect and you really admire and look up to, or can you derive that from a partner or your friends? And so I think these are the questions that a lot of the people in the room either have never asked themselves or maybe haven't had the vocabulary for. And that's what I'm really excited about, being able to turn a subjective thing like asking a friend a silly question into an equation. Jack, thank you so much. Turning like a subjective matter into an objective matter, because that is going to, I think, enable this whole room of very technically minded people that all the change and the action they want is literally in this little equation. Now, I'm sure as a woman of science, this is a working concept. And of course, there's more things that could come later. But that's where I'm excited now that I have my anchoring point around, I'm going to base this like I'm presenting a case study like to another industrial engineer. I'm going to be everything is going to have like the light essence and fun of me, but it's also, and this is gonna be actually the most clear picture of my brain I think anyone's ever seen of like, yeah. So what I'm recognizing is the nice thing about this month, even though I'm not completely done yet, I haven't been doing a lot of presentations. The coolest part is it's gotten me to sit down and really think about how to connect with the people in the room, which is a professional presentation skill that I needed to build. Because at Anheuser-Busch, I knew those people. Like I knew exactly what kind of stuff they're used to seeing and what they want to see. Whereas this conference we're going to is like, it might be a lot of new people, and maybe, what connects us is Excel. So I am on a soapbox. I'm so sorry. I'm probably going to head over to the Discord chit chat chamber to continue working on this, but I'm excited I learned a new thing in PowerPoint with the outline feature, because I think that could have saved me a lot of time in the past. It also enables me to more properly use the master deck, master slide master, use that more properly so I can use all the other benefits that PowerPoint has. I've just been underutilizing. So again, thank you so much for being here. Jack, you absolutely need to go take some sleep, and I will chit chat with you guys all later. Okay, bye.